It's quite useful to download the instructions, which are on the web page under the download section. On there you'll find all the connections and how to put it together, how to set it, and the whole 9 yards. Everything is there, and we'll explain step by step what to do. That's exactly what I'm doing on this video. There's the little plug that tells you how to set the various positions for Servo 1 and Servo 2. And how to set up a twin servo board. This is the board set up in position here. We have two switches which are wired. This is Servo 1, Servo 2, and they are wired to the terminal block over there. The center terminal is the ground terminal, that is common to the two switches. Servo 1 is the grey wire, goes to the outside there. Servo 2 is the purple wire rather, and goes to this terminal on this side. We plug the two servos in. This servo is Servo 1. Let's just move that down a bit. Hang on a sec. Right, so Servo 1, I'm using this micro 10 here. That goes onto the first terminal here, and the dark wire goes to the outside of the board. That'll be either brown or black. And then Servo 2, I'm using this underboard tie bar, and that will go to the second point there. Then you will also need a 12 volt DC supply. I use one of these wall warts. This is a 1.5 amp 12 volt unit, and it's quite happy to power two boards probably, as long as you don't fire all the servos at the same time. You can either use a plug, as I've done over here, and just plug the unit in, or alternatively you can cut the wires off here, check to see which is positive and negative, and wire them direct into the board. Now, just one word of warning: if you put the positive and negative the wrong way around, you won't do any damage, but the board won't work. There is a diode protection in there. You will also need one of our setting boxes. Our setting box comes with a 2 meter Cat 5 cable, which is plugged into the back of the box. If you need something longer, you can always replace this cable with a standard computer Ethernet cable. Plug it in there and it will plug into the board. So that's the basic setup. Now we need to power up and see where we go from here. So now I'm going to plug my 12 volts into the board over there. The moment I do that, if I come in closer to the board here, you will see that there are two LEDs. The green LED is for Servo 1, which is going to be controlled by the switch on this side, and I'll control that servo there on this wire. And Servo 2 is the red LED, which will control this servo and from the switch on this side. One other thing to note, that before you set any servos with the Dingo mounts, please make sure that the limit switches are released and pushed right to the outside of their travel, and just lock them up in that position so they don't move. It's quite important to do that so that you don't end up overdriving the servo. Right, now we're ready to start setting up our servo. So first of all, make sure that the setting box is in a centered position. In other words, that there's no movement there. Plug the servo setting unit into the board, and now we need to use this little gadget to set the servos. So to set Servo 1, we move it into that position, and straight away the green light starts flashing, and I have control with the grey knob to set it in whatever position I need. Once it's set in the right position, wait a few moments until the green light stops flashing. When that does, change the switch, And now it'll start flashing again, and I can use the other knob to set the other side. Again, once it's in position, wait until the light stops flashing and it's set. Then I take off the little gadget which I can store in the center 2 pins, which won't do any damage. I can now test my servo. And it's all operating perfectly. Now we do the same thing for the second servo. First of all, put all the controls in the center, take the little clip and put it onto the first 2 on that side. The red light starts flashing, and I then set that to wherever I want it. Wait for it to stop flashing. It does take a while sometimes. Why am I not getting this to set? Oh, there we go. To the other side. Set that to the other position. Again, wait for it to stop flashing. When that's happened, we can take that, put it again in the middle pins, and we can then unplug our setting box. Our servos are now set. And I will continue to do that until such time as you plug in the setting box and go through that thing again. Excuse the noise on that particular servo. This is just a demo board, and it's normally just used cold without being operated, and often I use servos which are a bit iffy to make them up because they just have to look good, they don't have to actually operate, but in this case I'm using them to operate. Once you've got that set, you can then slacken off the screws here, move the switches until they just click. Once they just click, lock them up in place. On the other side as well. And there we go. Job done. Now, just one point of interest on this. The servo board has to drive the servo to where you set it. So if you try and overdrive the servo, in other words, you're pushing too hard against the stop or against the end of the rail, you won't be able to set the board. The board will only set as long as the servo is still free. So if you get to that point and the light will not stop flashing, just back it off just a smidge and you'll probably find that it will set. Thank you for watching.